So the company xTiles reached out to me and asked if I would review their app. And I gotta say, I've enjoyed the experience so far and I wanted to share it with you. xTiles is a visual note-taking app with tasks and project management. Now, before you roll your eyes at the next all-in-one app, I want you to hear me out. It's got the power of Notion and the simplicity, in my opinion, of Google Keep. You don't need months to figure out the functionality. You can actually get started on day one, which is pretty nice. Now in this video, we're going to go over an extensive overview of the app, the desktop app, and then also how I would set up a second brain in xTiles. Now you may be asking me, what is a second brain? Well, imagine a world where every note you come across in your digital notes isn't clickbait, but something that truly resonates with you. A place you can go to back in time to read personal stories that shake you to the core or make you laugh until you pee your pants. A space where you could start to see connections of your thought patterns, passions, and beliefs, where you could create on the spot because you have a deep well of ideas to pull from to speed up the process. Sounds awesome, right? This, my friend, is what a second brain can do for you. In short, it's a system created by Tiago Forte to organize your digital life so that you can remember, connect, and create. Real quick, I wanted to show a visual kind of representation of the organization of xTiles. So you have a space, right? And within a space, you have projects, and you can have unlimited projects within a space. And then within a space, or a project, you have pages, or documents, or collections. Okay, so each of these are different pages. Now on a page is it's like a blank canvas. And so on a page, you can add these, what they call tiles, or notes, or to-do lists, or images, tasks, tables, all that kind of stuff. And then within a tile, you can have your note content, bulleted lists, tasks, tables, subnotes, subprojects. We are in the xTiles app. This is the dashboard, the home page, whatever you want to call it. Now the way that xTiles is set up is the organization is you have a space or spaces. In this case, we are in my workspace right here. You can create other spaces if you would like to. This is the top level of the organization. Spaces hold projects. You can change while you're on this dashboard page here. You can change between a grid view and a list view if you have multiple projects going on, depending on your preference. And at the top right, you can create a new project. You can start from scratch. You can import from Markdown and use a template. They have templates that you can use, a lot of different templates. We'll go over that in a little bit. And any projects that are archived would be in this tab here. And templates that you've used will be here. Now we're going to talk about projects. We've seen the space here. Let's talk about the projects. If I go into a project right here called All About xTiles, not Textiles, we have a few different things going on here. At the top, we have the image. You can have an image or a cover. So if you're used to Notion covers, you can have customized cover right here. You can reposition it, the image. You can change the cover. They have an integration with Unsplash, right? Or you can remove the cover as well. And then you also have an icon that you can change to. So those of you that are used to Notion are probably going to be, it's going to look familiar. Now what's unique about xTiles here is this middle section that has these various sizes of cards and tiles. Okay, we're going to get into what you can do inside of a tile here in a little bit, but I'm showing you an overview of what this looks like. So within a project, this, I'm looking right now at a page. I have different pages right here, and I'm looking at a page. These are the tabs that I can switch to, just like your web browser. You can have multiple tabs. And so projects can have pages, documents, and collections. Think of collections like Notion databases. Now let's talk about the pages themselves. A page, if I add a page here, a blank page, we'll call it blank page. You can see this is just like an open canvas. It may look similar to Miro or any other kind of whiteboarding app that you've seen where you can just kind of put stuff on. That's what I think is unique about xTiles, is the way that a page is laid out, and you can just kind of splatter paint your thoughts and your images and all your stuff, all the stuff that's related to projects or your project onto a page. You can name pages. Obviously you saw that, but I can rename a page. I can duplicate, copy. I can add a description of a page, which is pretty cool. And then I can change the color of the tab and then this top bar right here. So if I have multiple pages, I can change the color of those if I wanted to. If I want to, I can actually group pages together, almost like you do with a web browser. You can group these bookmarks and tabs or whatever, but in this case they're pages. So if I go over here to the three dots and click that, I can click add to new group, and then I can name the group Awesome. All right, so now I have this blank page inside of this group called Awesome. If I want to add another page, and then I can add this new page to the group Awesome. Now, if I click this drop down here, I have the option to create a page within the Awesome group, or I can go to either one of these pages. Another way to organize pages within a project. Now, you will have noticed on this All About xTiles page here that I have these boxes with notes in them. Okay, these are called tiles. Let me go back to a brand new page. The tiles you can add by dragging your mouse onto the canvas, and it shows you the size here as you drag it, and you drag it to whatever size you need, and it creates a note for you. Right? And so you can create a new note, and then I can resize it later if I want to. Another way to add a note is to double click, and it just creates this generic size for you. And then finally, to create another note is to click new, and it creates a note. Now each tile here can be styled with an icon and the layout of the visual layout, and then also the color. So if I click this paintbrush icon right here, I get some ways that I can style this. I can add an icon to the left. In the middle, actually the middle doesn't work. I can add an icon to the left or to the right. The title, I can make it larger if I wanted to. And then I have the style section here where I can create different layouts of color here, and then I can actually change the color. So you can see, within one tile, one note, you can customize the style and the look of every single note that you take. Okay, if you want to. The other thing I want to show you is within a tile, you have slash commands. You can format text, and it does support markdowns. Heading to, it does also do slash commands, when I open up the slash commands, I can see some examples here. I can add a task. Can add an image. Can search for quotes. And you'll notice that I have, under this most popular, I have a nested note. Right? And so with nested notes, you could have a whole project be in one note if you wanted to. I prefer the Lego approach, where you separate the pieces and you have little pieces that you can connect together in many places at different times. But if you wanted to, you could have a whole project, a whole article, whatever it is that you're working on. Maybe it's a written word and you're working on something. You could have multiple notes inside of one tile if you wanted to do it that way. Another thing that's pretty cool is you can add backlinks. So this is the networked note approach, right? I just hit @ and I can search for another note. I know these are all notes right here. These are different tiles. Now if I click on projects, so it opens it up in a modal for me, which is nice. I can add to this note if I want to without actually leaving the space where I'm at. So I can just click out of it to go right back where I'm at. But it shows you on the right hand side how many backlinks there are, and then where the backlinks are, or what they are. In this case, it's this note that I have called projects. And so if I click open source, it'll actually go to and scroll to the tile. So if you have like a long list of tiles right here, or a long page of tiles and notes, it'll actually scroll to the exact tile where it was linked to, which is pretty nice. And you may have noticed this is block based, right? So every single line here is able to be rearranged and moved around. And so if you're used to a bunch of different note-taking apps now have block-based note-taking, but I really enjoy block-based because of the functionality and the way that you can rearrange content and rearrange your notes or ideas in a note. Okay, so let's talk about the top right actions here, these icons. So first we have the inbox. When I click it, it opens up a sidebar to the right here. The inbox is to capture all your ideas and thoughts and links from the web clipper, which it does have a web clipper. We'll go over that in a second. And then we have tasks. So the new task that I created just right here on this note is showing up in my list for today. These other tasks are actually on another project that I have called Building a Second Brain, or How to Build a Second Brain. I don't remember what I titled it. So all of your tasks are in one place. And when I click into a task, like this new task right here, it's going to show me more information about it, who it's assigned to, if I have a due date, and then I can go to that tile. Right? So this task space right here, the right sidebar, shows me tasks from all the projects, which is pretty nice. You can also add tasks inside of this. I can assign it to me, I can assign a due date. And then we have the calendar. So any task that I have scheduled for a certain day will show up. I can also add tasks within the calendar. I can set its location to a tile, which is pretty cool. And with the paid version, you do have integration with Google Calendar, which is nice as well. And then we have notifications. So if I have, like in this case, I have, these tasks that are due today, and then when I click it, it takes me to the task list on the right sidebar. All right, let's see. The one thing that I'm missing here, I think, is this search. Yeah, so search, it actually searches across all of the projects, which is pretty cool. So like, for example, if I search the word crayon, it's going to show me the results in 2 different areas, 2 different projects. This is one project called All About xTiles, another one called My Second Brain. And then it shows me the page that it's on, in addition to like the card. So it's searching the content inside of the tiles, right? And then it's letting you know the project and the page that it's on, which I think is helpful. And then we have help as well. All right, collections are a way to group tiles. And tiles can be moved or added to collections. So let me go ahead and create a new collection here. And it's going to be a table collection, a blank table view. New collection, we'll call it that. And you'll see that it shows up here as like a tab, right? I can put this into a group if I wanted to, into the awesome group. I can create a new group for this. But this is kind of where we get into the Notion side of things, right? This is just a normal table, but you have different views you can have. You can have a gallery view, you can have a board Kanban view, table calendar view. With the plus, you have timeline. All right, so let me go back to this All About xTiles page here. Now I can, with the 3 dots here, I can add to a collection, or I can move to a collection. All right, moving puts a tile in that collection, and it no longer belongs in this page here. Add to collection keeps the tile on the page that it currently is on, but adds a copy of it to the collection, right? So if I add this to this new collection that I've just created, on the bottom of these tiles, you'll see what collection it is added to. And I can click this new collection here, and it will take me to the collection and then bring up the card or the tile in a modal here, so I can edit or whatever I need to do, add properties, that kind of stuff. So, and it shows up right here. And you can add a tile to multiple collections. All right, so if I have another collection, maybe a gallery collection, I can add the same card, the same tile right here to the gallery collection. So you notice it's now on 2 different collections. Now on the table view, you can have all these different types of columns. You can have relational databases, you can have multi-select, date, checkboxes, numbers, files. It's a powerhouse. You can add all kinds of stuff here. And then you can, on the top right, you can, which is kind of cool, you can do a row height. And you can tell it to show certain properties. You can sort, and then you have filter, where you can create multiple filters. And we'll get into the filters here when I show you my version of how I would set up a second brain. So I'm going to bring this site over here. There we go. The web clipper. Once you download it for Chrome or Safari or whatever, you can save snippets of web links, or YouTube videos, all that kind of stuff, well, I'm sorry, no, you can save snippets of articles or websites, that kind of stuff like that. But then you can also save the entire website, YouTube video, that kind of thing. So I have this, so I have this article from 37 Signals. Actually, no, there we go. Now I have this article. I could save this whole thing to xTiles by simply clicking the xTiles web clipper. And it's going to show up with a thumbnail, title, all that kind of stuff. And then the inbox is going to be, or the destination is going to be inbox. So I hit save. And now I go back over to xTiles. And here we go. You can see it's got a blue dot there to let me know I have something new in my inbox. Now, I can take this tile or this website here, and I can add it to, let's say, this. Let's see. We'll do the awesome new page here. Click and drag over. Resize it if I want to. All right, now I have this here if I want to review it later. The other thing is I can save snippets, right? I can highlight text, right click, and hit save to xTiles. And it's going to save to the inbox right here. Drag it over. All right, and I can format this text if I wanted to. I could do the progressive summarization. That's not what I wanted to do. And just bold certain things, and then I can highlight certain things. The yellow highlight, you know, and do the Tiago Forte progressive summarization on this snippet here. And eventually I could create my own version as the title, you know, as a one sentence title if I wanted to. So there it is. That's the web clipper. Templates you can find on the home page. So if I click this home icon right here, and then at the top, this bar, open to see your personal offers, templates for you. I can click all templates, and it's going to open up with a right sidebar, and there are hundreds of templates, I believe. All kinds of templates that can be made. Some are free, some are paid. One cool one that I wanted to show you is a second brain template. All right, so this is what it looks like. If you're familiar with Tiago Forte's para method, you have projects, areas, resources, and archive. Current projects that you're working on, personal tasks. So these are all tiles right here. Then you have the pages. They've labeled one of their pages dashboard. And then they have a group, it looks like, of collections with resources and archive and all that stuff, which I believe these take you there. So these are just links. Yearly goals is another page. Let's go to the next page, see if we can see it. There we go. So these are the collections that I was talking about that you can put into, excuse me, into different views. In this case, we have the projects collection that is in a Kanban view, and I can see what's planned, in progress, and done. I have a calendar view of my projects, and then I have area collection with a gallery view. Something cool to check out. Okay, so we've gone over an overview of xTiles, the app, what all you can do and add, and how it is organized, all that stuff. Now I want to show you how I would use xTiles to build a second brain. Now you can see I have my own project here, another project that is titled My Second Brain. I'm going to click into that. Now how I would set this up is it would be one project which includes the wall right here. This is what we're looking at, the wall. This is a wall of ideas and thoughts and images and all that stuff for every area of my life to visit, for me to remember, connect, and create, right? And it's a place to be inspired and to remember and all that stuff. And I like this view of having everything in one place. And then we have the museum. Okay, so the museum is where I can organize the ideas that are on the wall into databases where I can easily filter and sort and look at what I've collected and what I'm thinking about in different ways, right? So I have a few different views here, and we're going to go into this and how it's all set up in just a second. And then finally, the canvas. The canvas would be my current projects. Okay, you can see I'm using a group here, and I have a YouTube script project and then a project called Sunflowers. And again, we'll go over all this and how it's set up and how I would use it. Okay, let's talk about the wall. This is a visual view of all my tiles or notes. And the notes have different sizes. It's basically, it feels like it's a collage of ideas. This would include quotes from other people that have inspired me, that resonated, personal ideas and thoughts, pictures. I love snapping photos of interesting things during my day that I can later use in my creations. Now, what does this look like? Well, the ideas and the quotes and all that would get added to the inbox, usually probably from my phone, which they do have a mobile app. I'm not going over that in this video though, but they do have a mobile app where you can just quickly add things, and things will be added to my inbox over here on the top right, like we've gone over before. And from there, I would click and drag things to the wall, right? Everything gets added to the wall. Now, if I know that something is related to a project, I could add it to the project and then later put it on the wall once I'm done, if I wanted to keep using that resource. Now, after I've collected some ideas and I've put them on the wall, at that point I would organize into the museum, and I would put it in the museum. I would put it in the museum and then organize it. So the museum is one table collection. Let me go over here. Is one table collection organized with tags. All right. So to add the tile to the museum, I would come over here. Okay. So to add a tile to the museum, I would use the three dots here, and then instead of move, because I don't want to move it to a collection, I want to keep this on the wall, but I want to add. I don't want to move it to a collection. I want to add it to a collection. So I would go to add to collection and then the museum. Okay, so now this quote is in the museum. If I go to the museum, now I see this here is added, but it doesn't have any tags. So I know that this quote is going to be tagged with quote because that's the type of note that I just saved, and then a life of creating is the value that I would tag that with. And then I wanted to show you as well that you'll notice, on the wall I have photos, right? These photos that are not attached to a note. Like this photo here is attached to this quote. It's inside of the actual tile, whereas this itself is the tile, and this is a tile. These pictures I've taken. Okay, I wanted a way to view only the photos and also have a view of all of everything else except the photos, right? And so to do that, I created a new filter where tags does not contain photo, and then I saved it as a new filter. When I did that, it came up with a new view here, which I could rename. So I have the all view, which is everything except the photos. And then I have a daily photos view, which is a gallery view, so that I could see the images. And then I have a life of learning. This is just an example. A life of learning view, which is a value that I have. And so I can separate these into different values that I have, and I can see them one by one by one, right? So for example, to create another filter for a life of creating, I would go over to my all here, and then I would add a filter, and it would be and where the tag contains or is a life of creating. And then I would hit save as new view and then name it. Resize this column here. I have my tags here, and now I have a new view. All right, so I have a life of learning view, I have a life of creating view. You can see now that I have different ways of viewing the ideas and the thoughts that have come into, that I've, that have inspired me, that have resonated with me. And then I have the all view, which is, wait, I need to get rid of this. There we go. Which is just everything except for the photos, all right? So as of this video, well, I did notice that tags do not sync across collections. So you notice I only have one collection, and I'm using, instead of multiple collections, like a collection for a life of learning, a collection for a life of creating, where I actually tag with two different types of tags, the type of note and then the value or the life area or the thought theme, whatever it is. So in order to see everything at once, I used one collection, titled it the museum, and now I have various tags that I use for this one collection. So unfortunately, it didn't work with having multiple collections for all of my values and life areas, or areas like the para system from Tiago Forte. But this actually works pretty well for me. I like that I can see everything at once, and that I can create different views of the ideas that I've saved. Now when I'm ready to start creating something, right, I've taken an idea from the wall and I want to start creating. Or I have a YouTube script that I'm working on. So for example, let's look at the YouTube script. Maybe the idea that I really want to focus on is this idea of finding ideas in the stare. And this came from listening to a YouTube video of how this communicator, a brilliant communicator, he finds a strategy in the stare when he just looks at a passage of a book and he just sits with it for a while. And as he sits with it for a while, he starts to see things that he hasn't seen before. And so I was thinking that's a really great idea, a really great way to find ideas is to just sit and stare at the passage for a while, right? It's long enough. So that's the idea that I was going for. Now, so I might pull in other notes from the wall, right? So if I find, or if I think, you know what, I really like this quote, and now that you don't have to be perfect, you can be good, I can move this over to the YouTube script. And I can move it back when I'm done. But for now, I would like to see this inside of this project. And so I have this together, and I'm looking at this together, right? And then I have research from another resource, like a YouTube video, right? And I may want to add that and listen to it as a way to build out my YouTube script, right? So I would save this YouTube video. And I would go in my inbox and click and drag it over here. All right, so I have a couple of things going on right now, different things in this project called the YouTube script, right? And then, like I have here, I have a task list. Right, I may create a task list of things that I know I need to do in order for this YouTube video to be successful. So I have all these tasks, and these tasks, again, they show up in this task list here. Okay, I can, if I want to, I can schedule these out for different days, Like maybe today I'm doing the research. Tomorrow I'll create the outline, and you can see as I'm scheduling these out, they show up here on the right hand side. Now, another example for me might be exploring ideas through like a picture study. And for me, we'll call this, this project sunflowers. So on the wall, I know that I have a picture of a sunflower here, and I'm going to move this over to the sunflowers project, and I'm going to come over here. All right, I can put this in the middle if I wanted to. Now, I might add my initial thoughts on the picture. And to do that, I would create a note. I can click and drag. Right, first thoughts. And list my thoughts out. Sunflower. Solo sunflower. All right, whatever it may be. I don't have any at the moment. But I would list out my initial thought. And then I might look up facts about a sunflower. So I can use the web clipper. And in this case, there's a few things that stood out to me as I was going through this. Let's see. Young sunflowers track the sun. That's interesting to me. So I would save that to xTiles. It's going to go to my inbox. Yeah, mature sunflowers face east. Cool way to know which way is east. Well, another way to know which one's east. And this is kind of cool how it formats for me. That's pretty nice. Hit save. Then there was something else. Sunflower habitat. Let's see, add that as well to xTiles. All right. Okay, so I've got a few things that I need to add. Looks like it duplicated the sunflower habitat. But there's one. Mature sunflowers. Young sunflowers. Okay. All right, got some things here that I can go through. Now, something that I noticed with these two notes here, how a mature sunflower faces east and then young sunflowers, they track the sun, is that their behavior reveals the stage that they're in, right? And so I had this thought, a sunflower's behavior reveals its stage in life. It's very similar to humans. So this would be a note that I have that's related. So this was interesting here, the sunflower habitat, and that adult sunflowers can withstand intense heat because they are drought intolerant. I would bold that because that's interesting to me. And it reminds me of a verse in the Bible that I've been thinking about recently, so I could add that. I've created some new notes based on this picture study that I could add to the wall in the museum. So I could add this to the museum collection. And then here, this would be considered a diamond, just a note that I've created that I want to save. And this is a life well lived. And then I could also move this to the wall. As a new note down here at the bottom. So I've moved it over to the wall, and then I can go into the page, use the three dots and hit copy, and I'd copy that this project to this note as its kind of its birthplace of that idea, right? All right, so overall, this app seems like a good alternative if you want to upgrade from apps like Google Keep and have the power of Notion. I do wish that the tags were global and talk to each other across pages and collections, but it's not a deal breaker since one collection for me worked in this case. But because tags aren't global, you're kind of forced to create a second brain in one project instead of using the app as a whole for your second brain, if that makes sense. This isn't necessarily bad, it's just an observation that I made. I do think xTiles shines with the creation phase, right? It's got built-in productivity features like the tasks and the calendar, in addition to the notes to really help you move projects along and create amazing things. If you want to check out xTiles for free, I'll leave a link in the description below.